now, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Hola, Madridistas. Welcome to another episode of Let's Be Real, a Real Madrid podcast. We had a great season this season. We won two titles, the La Liga title, and of course, Champions League, the one that we wanted the most, and I guess the one that we believed in the least. So I guess starting off, my first question to the panel, and I'm sure you guys see we have a couple of new members today. Maybe I'll let them introduce themselves first. Sorry. We have two members returning and one new member today. So maybe I'll let our new member introduce himself first.
Oh, is that me? Hi,
Yeah.
yeah. Hi, I'm Yadu and I'm new here, so go easy on me. But yeah, I'm a Madridista since, I don't know, a long time now. Over a decade and a half, probably. But yeah, I'm here now. So yeah, let's get started. Let's go.
So guys, this is our first live stream, so maybe it wouldn't be perfect, but we'll try to make it as perfect as possible. And I hope that we can continue counting on your support, and hopefully in the future we'll bring back the frames and everything, and maybe improve the quality of our live streams. So to start off, I think the biggest question is the fact that going into the season, what sort of expectations did you guys have from the team, and did you really expect us to win the Champions League? Because midway through the season, if I'm being honest, I did not see us winning the Champions League, especially after that Clasico defeat to the team that must not be named. So probably I'll let the new guy go first, and then others can pick up the slack.
Yeah, so I definitely thought that La Liga is ours because just let's face it, everybody else were in the mud, more or less. And with the Champions League, I expected us to go at least into the semi-finals. I mean, that was my expectation. Anything less than that is pretty bad for Ancelotti. So yeah, I leave it at that. But those were my expectations. With the Copa del Rey, I mean, we don't care. And yeah, that's what I had in mind going into the whole season.
But did you really expect to win the Champions League?
Let's just put it this way: once we made it past the semis, it was pretty obvious. I mean, we don't lose finals.
Sunil, do you agree with that? Because I remember when it came to City, you didn't really have much hope, and Liverpool either.
I'm the guy with zero faith, always have been. But especially this season and the way Premier League teams have been on their high horse, I honestly didn't give us a chance. And to be fair, history always tends to repeat itself, and our team. They tend to humble people, bro. They tend to humble even the cockiest of fan bases out there. But we did it again. But honestly, if you ask me before the semis or before the quarters, no chance. Nope.
Farouk? What do you think? Because let's be honest, like Farouk is the most pro Liverpool guy on our panel right now, because he has this affinity for club football and everything. So what do you think?
I think that's unfair. Like I'm not a pro Liverpool guy. I'm a pro good football guy. So that's the thing. I love watching Guardiola's team and Klopp's team, even Conte's team, and so on and so forth. Yeah. So I'm a fan for the tactics and all that. Yeah. So just to be honest, like I think for me, like at the beginning of the season, like winning the Champions League was never a consideration. Just let's not be humiliated. Like just have good game, be in the tie, and eventually like we can just lose out after all. Because we came out flying in La Liga, so like we're most likely like champions, I think, at the midway point or whatever it is. So like, but for the Champions League, nah. But then I would say this, like after the comeback in Paris, like I now felt like okay, like something can happen. Like you've awoken a beast, like a sleeping giant is finally awake again. Like the people start the belief that comes with that. I feel like yeah, okay, we could go far in this competition.
There's something really interesting that you mentioned about good football. Like personally, I'm not a connoisseur of good football. I don't really get this. I'm not even sure what good football is. So probably Ria and Ritvik, I'm going to let you chime in over here. And what exactly is this good football that everybody keeps talking about, and why is it the fact that the football that Real Madrid plays, like somehow everybody in the media and especially English media that Suned is a big fan of, they keep pushing us back and not giving us, as Suned would say, our flowers.
So personally, I think what's his name? Jamie Carragher, great guy, love him. I watch him every day.
You love
He's,
him. Oh my God.
Inspiration to me. The way he talks, so articulate. I think maybe what he played in his time, and there's another man. What's his name? Micah, if I'm not wrong.
Micah Richards.
So yeah, him. He plays good football. No, sorry, beautiful, good, whatever you want to call it. Now, I want to listen to their opinion about Real Madrid because they have achieved so much in their own footballing experience. But that being said, when we lost to Sheriff this season during the group stages, I, from my Reddit account in the match thread, I said, "Oh shit, we lost to Sheriff. That means we are winning Champions League this season." And obviously, I was downvoted to hell.
You know, Nostradamus should take a rest. Ritwik is here.
Yeah, no, honestly, I said it because I was like, okay, so we're losing to shit teams again. Maybe we'll win the Champions League. We'll win the Champions League. And well, people were mad at me for saying that just after the goal happened. I think it was the 90th or the 89th minute goal, if I'm not wrong, in that game, the winner. It was very late. And
I think it was Sebastian Till.
Yeah, it was Sebastian.
That wonder goal.
I wrote that comment and I was downvoted to him. But I knew somewhere that maybe, we might. And, in the start of the season, Madrid was playing very beautiful football, or at least fluid football, from what I could say. It was a good transition from Zidane's, I don't want to say bad football, but it was slightly boring to watch Madrid last season compared to the start of the season. It was very flamboyant and it was good. Like, there was some sort of expectations instantly. Like, there were new young signings. They were shaky in the start though about Camavinga.
At the back, especially.
Yeah, even at the back. So, but it all turned out well. I mean, I don't know about good football and all, but hey, we won Champions.
Ria, what do you think? What were your hopes going into the season?
I'm just happy that what all their teams, what their clubs they put into the good football bracket, like Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool, we have actually won against all of them. So I think we have proved what good football is in their own terms. All the teams they categorize under the good football, and the man, so-called man, Messi, we have saved his penalty. So we have all the answers to the good football they wanted from Real Madrid. So I don't understand, actually don't know what they mean by good football. Actually, we should invite them to a panel to ask what good football is. Maybe we don't know about it.
The funny thing is, people like Jamie Carragher, especially, when he is being paid to be a pundit, like people tend to forget his playing days. He wasn't one of the greatest Premier League centre backs. He was just above average. I think his whole Istanbul game basically carried him until his eventual retirement in like 2013 or something. So these guys are essentially not great ambassadors of good football. That's pretty evident from their playing careers, at least.
Maybe these guys have a more of an obsession with good football because they themselves weren't playing great football, so to speak. But I think, Farouk, something has to be said about the fact that Ancelotti played a pragmatic brand of football that took us to victory. I wonder what you think about that.
So actually, for me, the thing is that I think I've said a lot of times what my opinion on Ancelotti is, like, irrespective of what happens. Like, okay, like, you get a lot of credits in the bank and you get given the benefit of the doubt. But like, do I see this guy as my long-term coach? No, definitely not. You understand? So that's the thing. If he gets relieved of the duty today, I will feel it's unfair, but not unwarranted, in the sense that that's what, because when I mean, what's a good football? I mean, like, coaches create, like, for example, I told you earlier, like, coaches like Guardiola and Klopp and all these guys, they stifle individuality, because they create a system, automations as they call them. They repeat things and over and over and over. Actually, even Sunit can attest to this. Like, that's what they do at Arsenal. They literally score almost the same kind of goal week in, week out. What's that? It means that it's automation. So that's it. The point now means remove Salah there, put Sunit, he scores. Remove Mane, put Thiago there, he scores. So it doesn't really matter. Like, so that's just it. You play the same system over and over and your guys perfected, That's why I really did love Conte a lot. Like, when he was at Inter, with Lukaku and Martinez, like, these guys could literally blindly know what was happening, But like, what happened with Madrid is that we're playing based on individual moments, you just have to like capitalize on the brilliance, individual brilliance of a certain player, of a certain moment, and like I would say like the history and all this and what is and what is not. So like you can play down what Carlo Ancelotti has achieved, and as Ria and Rutu correctly pointed out, like you literally went through everyone like that they claim to be, the team, the person that will win. The Messi, Mbappe, and Neymar was supposed to be, the big thing, and then you went through them. You went through, the Thomas Tuchel, and then it's Pep Guardiola, and then Jurgen Klopp. You understand? Like you went through all of them, and like you come out as the last man standing. So I think that alone on its own, it's a huge credit to Carlo Ancelotti, and like I can't remember any more difficult part in winning a Champions League since I started watching football. So yeah, I think all credit to Carlo Ancelotti for this. Like he has to get all the flowers, But like personally, I still feel like if I had the choice, like definitely, like I'm going for a Nagelsmann or Pochettino 100%. That's just my personal.
The long-term plan is always a very debatable topic, man. Because see, in my opinion, a club should be going into a season only looking ahead, just like a couple of seasons or 3 at the maximum. And especially when you have a guy like Carlo at the helm, the most far-sighted you should be like until 2 seasons more. That's it. Like if we're gonna actually bring in someone like Nagelsmann, I don't know how good he would actually do with us, man. Because you've seen.
I think it's a good point. You bring up about Nagelsmann, because we see what's happening with him at Bayern, right? He's failing to control the locker room. Today, a story came out that Robert Lewandowski was pissed at Nagelsmann because he asked him to, he was trying to teach him how to position himself. And I think this is something that happened at Real Madrid with Rafa Benitez, right? When Rafa Benitez was trying to tell our players like how to conduct themselves in the box. So I really think it's a good point that you made, Sunet, about Julian Nagelsmann. I wonder what more you have to say about it.
No, man, like, in my opinion, at least at our club, the way it's run and the way the whole dressing room and the fan base is connected, a guy who is very tactically astute might find it difficult, especially if things are not going well. Like if it is a well-oiled machine and we have all the pieces in place, and then a guy comes in and tries to do his thing, it might work. But you know how we deal with stuff. Real Madrid never really have all the foundations in place. It's usually make do with what comes first. And I don't think in such a period like this, a guy like Nagelsmann or somebody tactically very proven would do bits.
Yeah, I think there's more to add there. It's more about practical football than, I don't know, appeasing football gods or whatever it is. It's a good coach knows what to make from the team that he has, more than fitting his ideals or fitting all the players available into the system that he has. And let's not forget that Carlo came in at a very clutch moment. Let's say we're still in rebuild. As far as I'm concerned, I still think that we are still in rebuild. And what Carlo has done with the team that he has available, I can't stop saying it. The guy's a genius, man. He's done that time and time over. It's crazy.
I mean, I think this thing prompts an interesting question. What exactly do you consider tactics to be? Is it not tactical to put the best players in positions that they would, play best at? That's a different type of tactics, right?
Okay, Mo, I think the thing is this. Okay. I think the thing is this. Like, I think what Yadu is trying to point out here is that, like, I think rather than a good coach, a good manager. Like, a good manager knows how to squeeze the very best things out of his players. But then I think rather a good coach would coach his players to be able to like transform the idea he wants to pass across on the pitch. You get the point. But I think I just wanted to make a comment on Sunaid's point. I think Sunaid made a very valid point that I think throughout the history of Real Madrid, like, at least since I've been watching, we've just been, the Galacticos and the Pavons and, like the superstars and then the Spanish homegrown players and what is not. So it's always been like, as Yadu said, like, it's always just been, we have this group of players, just do the best you can with them. We really don't care about, like, how eventually you do the tactics or what is or what. No, we just, want to win the thing. Because we've been here with Vicente Del Bosque finishing fourth in the league and winning the Champions League, So, like, it's just that. And for me personally, I really, like, count the league as how to measure consistency because like it's 38 games. Like we just can, make a band of 11 players and just fire ourselves up and we can win something, in the cups. But for that, I think the Nagelsmann point now becomes this. When you come to a team like Madrid that has egos and personalities and all this and all that, definitely maybe that doesn't work. However, I personally feel like there's a change in direction from Real Madrid right now. Like we're not looking to buy, the superstars on the market. Like I feel like there's a change. So I feel like with young players like Vini, Rodrigo, Camavinga, Valverde, and just to name a few, like if you can find a coach that will mold them, that's actually been my whole point. My point is I don't trust Ancelotti to mold these guys into world-class players. This is my own personal opinion. Maybe he does, and I eat my words and whatever, but that's just what I feel like. Because right now we're moving in a different direction with young players, younger generation and not superstars. They come here and they fight for themselves and they make names for themselves here. So that's why actually I made the point about the Nagelsmann and Poch and what is not.
So actually, I have something to say about that. I actually completely agree with Sunaid, and more of a question. So imagine Nagelsmann does come to Madrid, and he starts his project, so-called project, and he starts developing you. But we don't win anything that season. Wouldn't we all sit here and rip him apart and ask for him to be out the very next season?
I don't think so. I 100% don't think so. I think the point is this, the thing is this, you have to see if you can see progress. So the thing is this, for example, let me give an example here. Although it's not a valid example in the end, but it was looking towards so. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came to United, he took them to second, right? And then people felt that, okay, this is something possible. It was a progress. You could literally see that. For example, also with Arsenal, right? Right now, even though Arsenal finished 5th, I think I told straight, for me personally, I consider it a success because when watching Arsenal, you could actually see that something is happening here. Something is literally happening here. It was the same for Klopp also when Klopp came out first. When Klopp came out first, he got 4th on the last day of the season. But you could see there's a progress. So for you feel like, okay, it's not a problem. Although we didn't win shit right now, we know that, okay, by progressing, we're getting there. Eventually, we will reach the end point. But then, for example, let's give an example of Ralph Rangnick right now. They came and even the players don't know what they're doing. Even Ralph didn't know what he was doing. So there wasn't any point there. You could say, this isn't working. And then we can come and we can rip everyone apart. That's just it.
I'll just say this. The thing is, you said that if Real Madrid finished 2nd or 3rd, you'd be okay. If there's a long-term project, it works. But the thing is, at Real Madrid, there's no project. The thing is, you cannot finish 2nd. You cannot not win titles and expect to be the manager next season. Because if I'm not wrong, there have only been 2 managers, right? In Di Stefano and Zidane, who have survived not winning a title. And even Zidane, he could himself. So, I'm not sure if that works. Ritwik, I'll let you respond,
In my opinion. So go on, Ritwik. Sorry. Go on.
No, so I just wanted to point out one example of this very thing about the project. Jupp Heynckes was sacked after winning the Champions League because he did not perform well in the La Liga. That's the expectation Real Madrid plays with.
Exactly. The expectations are that high. I agree. Yeah. Go on, Ritwik.
So that just I wanted to point out that there is no project system, at least in Madrid.
At least for us, that's very valid, man. That's also the thing that I wanted to tell Farooq, because all this project stuff and all the the good football, pure football enthusiasts always proposes. This doesn't mean that it'll generally work for us, because imagine you have someone like Nagelsmann. Okay, he has a long philosophy. He's trying to drill it into our players and whatnot. They eventually might grow into better players. You never know. But if in that mean period you don't win nothing, you don't survive the job. Simple as that. I think once these breed of managers go extinct, a la your Carlos, your Allegris, your heritage names, household names, they all go extinct. Maybe then Real Madrid and their board might go in your direction, Farooq. But as of now, progress and consistently building season after season is not going to work for us. In football, people always understate the importance of overachieving. If you go into a season, sat around with your board and discussing, okay, where you might end up, these are your objectives for the season, and if you don't cross it, in my opinion, you're a failure, because all throughout the season, the factors revolving around every team, your league, and even in Europe is constantly changing. It's very fucking dynamic, and you got to capitalize. And that's what we exactly did this season. Imagine you had Nagelsmann, and you had another 3 years of maybe a top 4 finish, maybe a quarter-final run and a semi-final run, and in the end, like Klopp, you get 1 Champions League and 1 league. Nah, mate, that won't work here, bro, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, talking about all the pure football enthusiasts, I mean, this goes out to all of them. You have to remember that even at the end, I mean, when everybody's panicking, City forgot how to play pure football. They weren't passing. They weren't doing 80 passes.
2 minutes.
They were crossing. They were crossing the ball just as we were. What happened to Liverpool in the last 10 minutes? I mean, they completely broke down. I would say they kept pressing, sure. Did they do something about it? No. Everybody were
They're in your
playing.
face. I'll give them that.
Exactly.
They're in your face. That's it. That's
Yeah.
the only
Everybody wants to play pure football until you can't win, and you can't win like that. You have to play a Real Madrid brand of football to win, and that's I just see it that way. I mean, I'll get hate for saying this, but you can play all the pure football you want. You can make almost goals. You can have almost trophies. You can keep all of that. You can keep 99% possession. I don't care, man. I just need the trophies. I mean, at the end of it, I don't care. You can keep your football.
I think that there's an interesting comment that was once made. You know, once you go into a fight, you have all these plans laid out about how you're going to dodge all those punches and do this and do that until somebody hits you right into the face. That's when everything goes out of the window.
The plan is out of the window. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but then Farouk, I'll probably let you respond because I think you have something to say about this.
Okay, so all right, so this is what I'm gonna say is this. Okay, like, so there is this concept of like pure football and what is and what is not. I think pure football is what Barcelona do like in the tiki-taka era and what is and what Spain did when they won the World Cup and the Euros. I think it's not about pure football right now. It's about entertaining football. I think that's the whole thing, because eventually your job is to entertain people, but then also football is a business. So the point is this: I need just to score more than my opponents, as Yadu just pointed out rightly, and that's just it. And like, if there's someone who knows that better than anyone, it's Real Madrid. You literally can play the game 90 minutes in Real Madrid's penalty box and you still lose the game somehow. Yeah. So that's just the thing. But for me personally, what happens is like, the best Real Madrid season I have seen in my life is the 2013 season with Mourinho. Was it 2013 or 2012 where we won the league with 100 points? 2012, right? 11-12. But then, like, a lot of people rate Mourinho as a pragmatic coach. But like, I love that season because why? It was fun to watch. It was fun to watch you hit people at 100% speed, 110%, not even 100%, breaking that touches between Benzema and, Ozil and Cristiano, and even at some point Kaká, and it was pure art. It was magic.
I think Farouk, the point that you're making prompts an interesting question. The thing is, like, you said that people, you are not exactly in favor of good football, but rather what you want is entertaining football, right?
Definitely.
And from what I know from Real Madrid's history, the thing is that Real Madrid isn't the thing that Real Madrid always has to win. But the thing is, it has to win with a certain style of football that brings in entertainment. Now, that entertainment doesn't necessarily have to be, tiki-taka or whatever. So I think the question over here currently is like, what football is entertaining? Is it necessarily, it doesn't have to be passing sideways or intense pressing, or, is sitting back and hitting people on the counter-attack entertaining enough? So what do you guys think about that?
Okay, so let me just say this before someone answers, please. I just want to summarize. My thing is that my outlook on football is this: like, I can go to a game and I can lose the game and I can still go back home happy if I am being entertained. If I know that, okay, we came for a fight. But the point is this, let me just give a game-in point. We went to Paris and we lost 1-0. Okay, we eventually went out of there. But like, that game, there is no way you can take shit out of that. We drew with Sevilla. I think we won at Sevilla, if I'm not mistaken, with the wonder goal from Vini Jr., right? Like, I'm sure if Vini had not scored that goal, we would have went home also like complaining. So like, that's the kind of person I am probably personally, like, I would take we played, we were in the game and we actually came to fight and it's all good. Like, whatever happens, like, it is what it is. So that's just what I take out of it. And so far so good. Yeah, it's been good to be honest.
Do you guys know the people at the Bernabeu who are always hide out with the white handkerchief and the boo boys? I think Farouk is one of them. But Ritik,
Definitely, 100%. Yeah.
but really, I think you had something to say about the topic of entertaining football.
Yes. So personally, I think the second season where Carlo was in charge, like I think 2014, 2015, where
Yeah.
we did not. I think personally that was the most entertaining season for me. I enjoyed it. Like the kind of football we played, the attacking football we played that season was brilliant. But that doesn't mean that when I think about the season, I'm happy about it in any way. You know how we crumbled towards the end. It's just sad how we lost to Juventus in Bernabeu. How we slipped the league to Barcelona, or I think it was Barcelona only. But start of the season was the most beautiful attacking football I ever saw Madrid play, and I was entertained. Sure, I loved watching it. Sure, but that entertainment, I'll never remember that season because of that entertainment point of view. I'll always remember it that we lost to Juventus in Bernabeu. We lost in the Champions League semi-finals.
We don't give rats names, but okay, I'll allow this one.
So my point is that if you play nice football but you end up losing, it's just garnishing on shit for me personally. It's a strong way of saying it, but if you don't win at the end of the day, being Madrid, you have to realize Madrid is not David and Goliath. Madrid is the Goliath. You expect Goliath to win. It's nice when David wins once in a while, but Real Madrid is not David. It's not. Yeah, exactly. That's my point. I mean, I don't know what you guys think about it.
Okay, I think this is interesting. Sunil, what do you think? Like, what is entertaining football for you? Because I'll be honest, for me, this season was pretty entertaining. All right, maybe the amount of comebacks, right?
Yeah.
Yes, Sunil, what do you think?
For me, man. Like for me, at the end of the day, if you collect the trophies, I think it's been a phenomenal year. But I'm sure many people believed us to be not deserving. I've seen many reputed podcasts out there calling this bunch of Real Madrid's group of winners as undeserving, and the rest of the big clubs in Europe should be questioning themselves how they let this average Real Madrid side win their 14th. It's again testament to a fact that entertaining and people pleasing football will get you a couple extra standing ovations, if you want to call it that. But at the end of the day, like, you can't tell your grandkids, yeah, man, I clapped for this brilliant performance against fucking Real Betis. Like, see, that's it. At the end of the day, there's no more substance to it. Like, people need to reevaluate what they consider a good season, in my opinion.
And I
think that's a good point. Sorry, Yadu, I'm just going to go to Ria first, right? The thing is, like I just mentioned, right? For me, comebacks is more pleasing than playing 90% possession and winning. So what do you think about this? Is the obsession with playing a certain side of football and classifying it as let's say people pleasing? Do you think that is correct?
I think actually it is correct, because it is entertaining. If you talk about entertaining, it is entertaining. For the first 89 minutes, they make the other team believe that they are going to win. And for all the Real Madrid viewers, we are like, oh God, like we are just about to die in the other second. So I think it is very entertaining for the comebacks when they actually score in the last 2 minutes. They told the other team, like, they throw at them that, okay, no, you're not going to win. We are going to win, and it's over. In the last 9 minutes, it's over. So I think Real Madrid always plays an entertaining game. So that is why I didn't like the finals, because they already scored before the 90th minute, and it was like around 50 or 60th minute, okay, the game is over. It's not entertaining. We know you're going to win. The game is over. So
I think the plan was actually to score like really late, but the game started late, and then Vinny had to kind of improvise the whole thing.
And
He
my
scored
man
at
Van
50.
Dijk was bending over. So why not?
Yeah. He had it on his watch and everything, so he was waiting for the time, and he scored on the 59th minute.
And
It
actually,
should
it
have
was
come on the
entertaining to
89th.
watch.
Yeah.
Salah has
True,
one
true.
more score to settle. Now he has 2 scores to settle with against us.
Yeah, he'll build up like 3 or 4 before he gets there. So.
Revenge tour part 2. Loading, people loading.
He can keep thinking.
Okay, I think moving on from this topic, I think in the Champions League final, the guy who scored was Vinicius Junior, and the improvement that Vinicius Junior has shown, like especially this season when compared to last season where it was missing sitters, and even
Phenomenal.
Sergio Ramos was like holding his head and turning and kicking the ground and in frustration. And then there's another interesting point that Farouk made, right, about the fact that he wouldn't trust youngsters to develop with Carlo Ancelotti. So maybe before I go to Farouk to respond to this, I would like to know, like, how would you rate Ancelotti's work with Vinicius, and how much of his growth would you actually attribute to Carlo Ancelotti's work with him? Because I think personally, I think Carlo Ancelotti gives players a lot of freedom in the final third and the ability to express themselves. So I think that is something that helps players, but then I can see why it might be regarded as a negative, because it's not really giving instructions to players and telling them what to do and when to do what. So I'll just open up to you guys before we go to Farouk about it.
So I really
Can I go?
I
Okay,
have
yeah,
one
no,
point.
yeah.
So I really think that Vinicius' growth is not just with Carlo. It has some effects from Benzema as well. So when you see him with Benzema, playing with Benzema, he is a different kind of beast. But when you remove Benzema, he just slips a lot of confidence. He isn't the same Vinicius when he is with Benzema. So that is I was about to say.
Yeah, I would just like to point out that Ria got the memo. Today just praise Benzema and the podcast will go well.
Fair enough.
But Farouk,
What do you
Farouk,
mean?
Before you, wait, one sec, Ritvik. Like Farouk, before you go into your response to okay, you should recognize that Carlo is the anti-Klopp or the anti-Pep. But
Why is it so though? Why? Can you just explain why
because
you
he
think
gives
he's anti?
actual players fucking freedom, bro. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Ritvik, you had something to say, bro.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out one thing about developing players. I don't know if it's considered development or whatever, but some of the players who've played under Ancelotti, and I'm not just saying about Madrid, but his whole coaching career, like players who play at least attacking football, they have had their best careers under Ancelotti, like best in terms of scoring or even like just how productive they were. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
even DCL last season at Everton, right?
yeah, even Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Before that, I think, even during his AC Milan days, some of the players who played in the front three, they had some of the best.
And you just made Suresh very happy by mentioning AC Milan. So
I
look
was
at that, the
gonna
dude
at
is
some point.
smiling.
I mean,
Go.
Today this next Milan's Lukaku, AC Milan's Lukaku.
so that was my point that,
One.
I mean, you can't say Ancelotti is not. I mean, he must be doing something right with these players behind the scenes for them to play with such a natural attacking instincts. I mean, they have had such great seasons under them. Even, I mean, James Rodriguez first season with Madrid, or I mean, okay, some people don't like that. I don't know, but I found it pretty entertaining. Bale, for example, his first 2 seasons at Madrid was pretty good. Ronaldo.
Like fucking prime Hugo Sanchez for a couple of weeks under Carlo.
Yes. Like during the second season, like the one where we did not win anything, Ronaldo was injured for a decent amount of time during that season.
Even
Bale was the only, even Bale was literally the only answer we had for the opponents. Like he was the one going out scoring goals week in and week out. So I mean, Carlo must be doing something right with these players, and I think he can develop a lot of at least the attacking players. I'm not so sure about the defense because maybe someone will have to pull out the stats of defenders who have played with him. But I think attacking players do flourish under Ancelotti a lot.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the system or it's the
Rodrigo.
coach. I don't know. Yeah, even Rodrigo has had a good season towards the later half. I think he was pretty crucial in our title, at least in the Champions League.
While I have sufficiently antagonized Farouk enough already, but I would like to make a point in his support, because I think there is a merit to this argument that Carlo Ancelotti does not really trust youngsters. because the usage of Castilla players has been like abysmal this season, especially given the fact that where we were with Miguel Gutierrez and Antonio Blanco last season. So Farouk, maybe you might want to like defend your points, with respect to Carlo Ancelotti, his work with young players, and especially his what part, like how much of Vinicius' growth would you attribute to Ancelotti's work?
This is a 5v1, bro. Handicap match. Anyway, go on.
And Farouk is still holding his own.
So actually, what I think is this, to be honest, like about Vinicius Junior, I think like you need to give a lot of credit to Carlo Ancelotti, because I think like he needed that, hands-on approach, I would say, or like, they say the arm around the shoulder or something. I don't know how the English people put it. Anyways, he needs just a bit of, that personal motivation where like he knows that even if he makes a mistake, it's good. Like it's not a problem. Like whatever happens. Like you just have to take the chance. The point is you miss the shots you don't take, right? So that's just the thing. So there is that as well. But for me personally, like, so the thing is this, like everyone has their own, choice of how to pinpoint, like thereof. But I think when you mention the likes of Kakas and Shevchenko's and, the Gary Bills and the Cristiano Ronaldo's and, the Didier Drogba's and the Frank Lampards, those guys who have played on the Carlo Ancelotti, like, we're not talking about 21 years old here. We're not talking about 19-year-old kids here, right? So that's the whole base of my argument, is that Carlo Ancelotti works, like, best with these guys. Like, he makes them... because this guy already know all their shit, right? They already know what to do, you understand? So he's not gonna come in and start telling, okay, yeah, you need to kick the ball with your shin, not with your lace, with your, with the tip of your... No, he's not gonna do that, He's gonna, let these guys do what they do, you understand? The point is that there are these clubs for a reason, right? If the scouting department is getting you here, it means that, okay, like, there's something you know how to do. So Carlo is just telling them, okay, tell me what is it you can do, and I will give you the freedom to do that. You understand? So unlike, as Sunay pointed out, unlike the clubs and the other guys who, like, they tell you this is what I need to do and this is what you need to do. But my point is this, like, these kids are still very young, right? Like the Rodrigos and the Camavingas, and so on and so forth. So like, I feel like these guys need a lot of like intricate coaching. They need a lot of detailed coaching into their game to refine the game. You understand? It's not just something you find along the way. So the thing is that 3 years later, give Carlo, what they call Vinicius, Camavinga, Rodrigo, and whoever I just name a few, I would be perfectly fine with that, And also to come to the Casilla thing, I would really, I wouldn't be the right person to give it a comment because like I didn't follow the Casilla a lot. But what I can just say is like, with the Miguel thing, I really was expecting a lot from, Miguel and, and Antonio Blanco as well, because we saw some cameos from them and we saw that these guys had a lot of potential, But like, I think for the first half of the season, like I think for the first 75% of the season, literally Carlo Ancelotti was playing the same team always, every day. Before then he decided, okay, yeah, the league is on, let's start to, bring these guys in there. And then Rodrigo and Camavinga made themselves like, you just have to put us in the game. There's nothing else you can do. So that's just it for me. But like, yeah, as I said, like these are just, like personal takes. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like, this is what has to be done.
No. Like, alluding to your earlier point regarding younger players, right? Like, if you go back to Zidane is somewhat of a evolved prototype of your Carlo, right?
Yeah.
Zidane learned his earliest trades from Carlo.
Definitely.
So, in my opinion, I want to contest your point that younger players like Rodrigo, young players like Vinicius, they all grew up under this environment, not under your Nagelsmanns or your Peps or your Klopps, right? So eventually these guys would have done something right for them to completely explode onto the scene this season. Even though Rodrigo and Camavinga have had a much lesser impact in terms of volume, but they still have had very significant impact in the way our season panned out towards the end. So, man, you got to give them their flowers, bro.
Yadu, maybe you can have the last word on this debate.
Yeah, so I just want to say, just not taking anything away from Carlo, obviously, but the players that we have, the youth talent that we have, they have a crazy lot of potential. Just looking at people, I mean, just even Vinicius. Vinicius had sparks, I'd say, of amazing potential he displayed early on. Even in the last season's match against Liverpool, I want to say, when he scored and Zidane was just hugging him, lifting him, I don't know, doing whatever. And that's when you saw like the monster that Vinicius could be, which, I mean, yeah, he's grown into it, but you have a young player who's come from a system where he is the central player. You can just check Vinicius's history, amazing player throughout. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't even say the sky is the ceiling. There's no ceiling for this guy. Love him. The same thing for Kamavinga. Anybody who's seen him play before would even tell you the same thing. He's suited for whatever you throw at him. And yeah, even Rodrigo. I mean, these are Real Madrid players. They don't end up at Real Madrid unless you are that quality. And it's just season after season, I expect them to grow. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to mention James, but yeah, I mean, Ritwik did earlier, James Rodriguez, I mean, Golden Boy and all that. On top of the world right now, our young players are on top of the world right now, and I expect them to keep growing. This season, they got the chances that they
We have
wanted.
signed a new one.
Sorry,
And
what?
we have signed a new one.
Exactly. Oh, I think
Chuamen,
we'll come to
Chuamen,
that. I think we'll come to that later. Yeah, spoiler alert, Ria. But yeah, fair.
Now our viewers know.
Oh no,
Yeah.
now everybody knows. Alright.
Y-
But yeah,
yeah, but-
I just want to say that part of it, I mean, you can't ignore that part of it. The growth that we have, the growth that we predict for these players, kind of amazing. Yeah. I wouldn't say that they would get the same kind of treatment anywhere else. Maybe they would. Who knows?
They would get the money from PS3.
At the end of the day,
ignoring that pot shot on that team from Paris, I would just like to mention the fact that we have Big Steve in the audience today because like Big Steve is somebody who Sumed admires a lot.
Oh, is he here?
legend
Okay.
of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Big
just
up,
left
big
a
up,
comment.
big up.
Yeah, he just left a comment, and I think we have to thank Big Steve for the help that he gave us the one time he came on our show, and he even helped us get Gris Khan as an audience, if I'm not wrong. And so we would like to thank him for being here. But going back to our debates, an interesting point that was made was the fact that we have some doubts about Ancelotti and how he organizes his defense. So with that in mind, how big has Courtois been this season? We all know the fact that if it were not for Courtois, we might have been handed a defeat in the Champions League final for the first time since 1981. But the thing is, like, because Courtois was there, Salah is left with another score to settle. So maybe you guys can evaluate Courtois' performance, because when Courtois was signed in 2018, he had a horrendous season. Almost everything that was shot at him went at the goal. And then in 2019 and 20, in that season, Courtois was substituted at halftime, supposedly with a stomach issue. And Areola came on, and everybody suddenly wanted Areola to be the starter ahead of Courtois. So if that decision had been made, Real Madrid's history could have been totally different. But maybe we can talk about how Courtois has evolved from those debacles and grown into the player that he is today. So maybe one of you guys can start.
Can I start? Because I have a personal confession to make. Because I
Oh,
was
sure,
a
sure,
hater.
go ahead.
I was his critic from the early days on. I had a Twitter account.
Kill him.
I-
Fucking try him.
Yeah, all of that. But I had a Twitter account where I went and I tweeted at him, saying, "Bro, what are you up to? What are you doing?" And I would like to personally apologize and eat my own words because I'm sorry, man. Legend. Yeah, I take it all back. He, the way.
Yadu, there's something. The fact that like Courtois of late has been on a Twitter spree
Yeah, I
where
should
he's
have-
answering every one of his haters. So
Maybe
maybe
he did.
He
you should be worried
fucking
about
Mark Goldbridge from the
Maybe he
United
did.
stand, bro.
Bro, like,
Right.
Mark
I saw
Goldbridge,
that.
Maybe he's replied to me
He
already. I
said
don't
that
know.
David De Gea is better than Courtois, right?
Yeah.
Facts machine
I think it
save
was
their
more like
asses.
I think it was more like he was saying Courtois is bad off his line, and Courtois was like, "I come and collect off crosses while
Yeah, so he posted some of the pictures from the Champions League and
Yeah.
replied to him. Yeah.
Yeah. So Farouk, maybe I'll go to you after Yadu, and maybe then rest of
Oh
everybody
yeah,
can respond.
I'll just finish just my criticism of English. English channels and podcasts as a rule, because I don't want to keep saying this.
With the exception of us, huh? We are also English.
The mainstream English media, the only thing they have going for them is that they can speak to a lot of English speaking audience. which gives them the kind of power to tell people, to put the word out that their team is better, blah, blah, blah. Ignoring whatever has been happening in the other leagues. I mean, they're not watching Real Madrid play day in and day out, week in and week out. And the only news that normal pundits have is from listening to the other pundits. So it's a complete circle of just bad information. And I'll tell you another crazy fact. I had never heard of Micah Richards until he slagged off Benzema. And I'm sitting there thinking, bro, who is this guy? Like, what? What are you saying? I think he said that Benzema is finally at the level of Harry Kane.
Yeah.
What? Oh, he said that?
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine?
Like
Yeah,
live on
if
television.
I
Live
said
on
that,
television.
if I
Yeah,
said that, if I
Are you-
said that with my friends, I would get clowned upon. I'd get beat up because my friends watch football. Bro, this guy's supposed to talk about
Yeah,
football.
that's the point. I'm not sure Michael Richards watches football.
Oh, is he on like our soccer the whole day and he watches that only PL discussion? That's what he's on. Maybe he's on that thread. Nothing else. Oh my! What?
There's this interesting story about Michael Richards. There was once upon a time when Manchester City were like not Manchester City of today, and they were still an
Yeah.
up-and-coming club, right? The thing is, like, Michael Richards was supposed to be the only player in the City squad that was good enough to be a part of other Big Four teams. But then he had some injuries, and he sort of fell off the wagon.
Yeah, he was very promising when he first broke onto the scene. But like, I just wanted to comment on the fucking Kane thing. Yeah, like, if you actually look into the history of football, right, and all the great teams and all the great players, no matter how shit of a team you're in, bro, if you're that generational, if you're that exceptional, if you're one of a kind, like the Brits actually Lord Harry Kane to be, he would have dragged fucking Spurs to a trophy, at least a League Cup, right? Like, at least a fucking energy drink Carabao Cup, right? At the minimum, but he hasn't. So what does it say?
Maybe Farouk, you can take us back to Courtois first before you respond about the Harry Kane thing, because I'll just let give you guys another spoiler. There's a whole debate about Benzema coming up, so let's first give Courtois the takes.
I feel the
Like-
pain, okay.
Okay, let me just say this, like, without even knowing that, like, Suede has a soft spot for Arsenal, like, just show any random person you can say for sure this is a goner, like 100%. 100%. Anyways, back to our Courtois thing. So the thing is this, like, for Thibaut Courtois, so, like, personally, I really did love, what's it called, Keylor Navas a lot, because I felt like he was untreated fairly at Real Madrid, like, with the whole David De Gea thing, him waiting in the airport apparently for which club he's gonna go to, and the facts not coming true, and he eventually coming back and leading us to a three-peat and all that. So I really, really because of that, I never actually kind of give Courtois a chance or anything of that. But to be honest, like, the man made a very valid point. It was that when he was in England, he was winning the Premier League. He was like ousting Peter Cech, like I think one of, if not the best goalkeeper in the Premier League history. Like, that's no mean feat. That's no mean feat. Peter Cech went to Arsenal and still won the Golden Glove. Like, it's not like he's ousting Peter Cech at the end of his career. So that's the thing. Like, he's ousting like a legend, and like, to be honest, like, people didn't give him credit for that. And I think when he came to Madrid as well, like, he came to Madrid as someone who was like, Chelsea fans are like he's a rat or whatever. Like, he went for more money and he did this and did that. The way he left them and what is not. So I think like he's really not been given his credit, or not at all, man, not at all. And actually, the other day I was seeing a stat. I think he made like 59 or 60 saves in the season, and then Ederson has 60 saves in the whole 38 Premier League games. Imagine, like, that's no mean feat. Like, really, really, like, for me, like, because the thing is that Benzema is on a different level this season. After Benzema comes Courtois, and it's not even close. Like, to be honest, like, really, like, Vini has been good, Modric has been good, but like, after Benzema comes Courtois, it's not even close. No.
The final adds to that point. Like,
That's it. Like, the final just cemented that.
Yeah.
The final really just cemented that. Like, like, it just, really, the man has to get his dues, man. Like, and I really hope he gets a very high ranking in the Ballon d'Or.
People have this weird
revisionism regarding Thibaut, in my opinion. Yeah, like, especially the way his career started out with us, bro. He dug his own fucking grave. Like, he comes out to the press and he himself proclaims, who is number one. You shouldn't do that, bro. Like, you're being teammates with the guy who won a three-peat, and he was no average goalkeeper. So fair play, bro. Like, he has completely turned this around, and he has completely written himself into a fucking folklore.
Definitely.
But yeah, people shouldn't revise what they thought of him initially. Like, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have had an interesting comment in the comment section where somebody agreed with Farouk and said that Courtois is definitely the second most important player this season. But then I think there was this English publication, I think it's called 442. They put out a list back in March or earlier this year, whenever, and they didn't even have Courtois in the top 10. And after the final, they even nuked that post. It's nowhere to be found on the internet. But then Ritvik and Ria, I would like to know from you guys. Do you think that would you consider Courtois as the best keeper, or would you consider somebody like Alisson a close competitor to him?
Can I go? Yeah,
sure.
So I have watched Courtois since his Atletico days. Like, I always liked the guy when he was playing for Atletico Madrid, and I used to follow Premier League for a brief period in my life. It was very sad. I was going through some shit. Anyway, so even then, I really enjoyed Courtois' game. When we signed him, I was not. I will not like sugarcoat it. I was like the happiest person, Not that I had any problems with him coming to our team because I thought he'll turn out shit, but because at that time I thought, why are we investing in a goalkeeper when our attack is really lacking? Why not just let Keylor Navas be there? And obviously his first season was pretty bad, and there was certain amount of, like, I was right, we should have never bought him. We should have gotten another striker or a attacking player instead of Courtois, save that much money, blah blah blah. But I'm so glad that we made that decision, because right now, for me personally, I think he's better than Alisson or Edison or even Mendy, any new goalkeeper you want to throw at him. He's miles and miles and miles better. And I personally think that he deserves the respect, and he should at least be in top 3 in the Ballon d'Or rating, at least. Like, that's the minimum. It'll be a really sad day if he's not. Like, it'll just show that France football is just biased as fuck. They don't care about
Ballon d'Or is
the
still
performance.
going to Messi. They
Yeah,
are
sorry.
award for
LM.
Benzema and a separate award for Courtois. So
For
that
Courtois,
is
right.
for Messi.
LM30 will win this one.
Best striker.
Yeah, what's your opinion about Courtois and the season that he has had, with us?
As Heru mentioned, even I didn't like him in the start. I didn't watch his games for Chelsea, and I didn't know how good he is or bad he is. But in the start, he had his misses, and I didn't like him that much. I was not appreciating. But then I thought that, okay, we can manage with it. But then in the end, in this season, he has completely overturned. Like, the tables have turned, and every critic has been changed to his lover. So
I guess I'm the only one over here that actually liked Courtois even before he came to Real Madrid, because remember when we played the Champions League final against Atleti, I was like, I want this goalkeeper to succeed here. Because yes, okay, maybe he didn't succeed immediately, but like 4 years down the line, at 35 million euros, I thought it was a bargain signing. And I'll be honest, I am somebody who was never sold on Keylor Navas. Maybe that will get me hate or something.
Oh my God, okay.
But I always thought Keylor Navas had a mistake in him, because if you guys remember the game against Juventus.
Which keeper doesn't, bro? I'm going to ask you that.
Courtois this season, right?
Yeah, actually, you're not wrong.
You realize it down the line that this season is an anomaly. You'll realize it.
I mean, then you would have to say last season was also an anomaly.
Definitely. That's what I was going to say. Like, the point is that Courtois didn't start making saves this season. The man has been on fire since last year.
Yeah. Consistent.
I understand your point, bro, but you guys are downplaying like Keylor Navas was some.
No, I'm not,
no.
man. This is the man who is downplaying him. I will not, man.
I'm not downplaying. I agree that the guy is good, but I've always thought that Courtois was better.
For Keylor Navas that I didn't have for many players. This guy played out of his skin. He was so short, and his stature was so average for a goalkeeper, and yet he somehow managed to pull off some of the maddest saves that I've ever seen. He made Sergio Ramos and Varane these exemplary, truly accomplished centre backs of the modern game. But yeah, man, Thibaut, he deserves all the flowers. Like, he has been our second.
I don't completely agree with that statement of yours that Keylor Navas made Sergio Ramos and Rafa Varane look good, because I think Sergio Ramos and Rafa Varane are pretty damn good center backs. So
You should watch Varane in Manchester United.
I mean, Varane probably has had a bad season, but that doesn't take away what he has done till now and what he did with Madrid.
Actually, put Kepa Arrizabalaga behind Ramos and Varane and see what happens.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Faru. Yes.
I mean, okay. I'm not saying Keylor Navas is Kepa bad. Keylor Navas is like Arrizabalaga bad. But the thing is, he's not Courtois good either. If you ever sat down and made a list of the best keepers when Keylor Navas was at Madrid, you'd never put Keylor Navas at top. It would be Neuer and maybe somebody else and somebody else and somebody else, and then maybe Keylor Navas at 5th or 6th, right?
Being good, even when people don't rate him, or when the general game doesn't rate him, right? Even I wasn't sold, bro. I'll be honest. A keeper from Levante, I wasn't sold at all. But he completely changed the narrative. But yeah. Anyway.
Actually, I think more the thing is this. I think I agree. I think all Real Madrid fans will accept the fact that Keylor Navas was never the best goalkeeper in the world. Yeah. But he does just enough. He does more than enough. He does what is required of him. You get he's he's fit for the job. Obviously, maybe there are better candidates out there, but he's fit for the job and he can do the job. You get? I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So that's it.
I get it.
So I think that's just the whole thing of it.
I remember when I was back
in my uni days, when the De Gea transfer famously failed to happen, I wasn't against him. I was very happy that De Gea is gonna actually join us and compete with Keylor. But lose Keylor, not compete. My bad. But I was actually happy that he's gonna replace Keylor. But the way he has proven us wrong time and time again, credit to the man. He's an absolute legend. But
I think we
just
have
one
had
last
this
thing.
interesting discussion about.
No. Just one last thing. Just that Keylor Navas has been clutch in penalties. I mean, we can't ignore that. The man's been great at penalties. I don't think there's any argument to that. We won on penalties many times with him there.
I mean, we have won on penalties with Courtois as well. You don't have to it was I think 1920 Supercopa de España where Valverde pulled a rat by its tail and got sent off. So anyways, I think an interesting point was made about the fact that Courtois is probably the second best player for Real Madrid this season, but then the best player for Real Madrid this season is somebody who Mike Carrick just famously said is just now I've realized is as good as Harry Kane. So what do you guys think about Karim Benzema's season? And where would you rank this season of Karim Benzema's in the context of other Real Madrid players with great seasons? How high would you rank? Would it be the best season by Real Madrid player that you've ever seen? Or I would like to hear from you guys.
With an average team, he has played actually too good because if you consider the 16, 17, 18, the team was actually overall we had a very stable team. But this season, we had an average team. We were not even sure about the Champions League. And he has been immensely good. He's God level, next to God.
So then maybe I'll come to you first. Where do you think this season of Benzema's ranked among the greatest seasons by Real Madrid players?
Well, bro, for our team, we have had some of the greatest strikers to, kick a ball, play for us. Ranging from Puskas to Hugo Sanchez, we had Higuain who was very, very good. People don't realize how good he was, in his early days. So many good strikers, Van Nistelrooy, so many good strikers. But this Benzema season should be top 3 in my opinion. Like just what Ria earlier pointed out, the team that he actually pulled across the line. I wouldn't say I wouldn't call it controversial to state the fact that this Real Madrid team wouldn't grace many all-time Real Madrid 11s. Apart from the obvious candidates, the obvious people of the 3Ps and whatnot. So this team being where it was a couple of seasons ago and finishing in the manner they did this season is truly credit to Benzema's sheer determination and the way he himself has reinvented how he applies to the Real Madrid team. Before, even before Ronaldo left, he was kind of the guy who played second fiddle, the guy whose focal point was to get the ball to feet and let the wingers and the pure goal scoring players of the team flourish. But ever since Ronaldo has left, he has had this kind of pressure to deliver, and boy has he passed with flying colors. And this season is a testament to his adaptability, and of course, I have to say this, his very innocuous tradition of bandaging his left wrist. I think that is the main juju that has gotten him this Ballon d'Or. And I'm fucking sure this guy will go down as one of the greatest strikers of the game. And Giroud, bro, you can go drive a fucking, go-kart. It's all good. I love him for Milan, but fair play, man, fair play.
Rizvik, I think as a stats guy, where do you think this season by Benzema should rank among the greatest Real Madrid seasons?
I think it's definitely top 5. Like, not taking anything away from any other great strikers who have played for us. Like Sunil mentioned, Van Nistelrooy, Hugo Sanchez of those days. But I think it's definitely top 5. And it goes without saying, but I'll still say it for the heck of it, that currently the best French player there is. Like, there's no one that even comes close.
I mean, that's not even a thing to say. It's a fact, right?
It's a fact, okay? The other one who thinks he might be can bend over and sit on a cactus and rotate. I don't care at this point.
He can just run like a Bugs Bunny. He can just...
Yeah, he can...
I'm never getting that image out of my head now. Him sitting on a cactus.
God, yeah.
Gory stuff right there. I mean, underage people look away.
Anyway, so I mean, I definitely enjoyed the season of Benzema, and I think I'm gonna remember this one for a really long time.
But the thing is, like, this thing is like everybody's saying it's top 3, top 5. Why is nobody saying it's top 1? Because for me, it's like one of the most brilliant seasons I have ever seen. By a player wearing Real Madrid shirt. And I've been watching Real Madrid since 2002, so I have watched a fair few seasons.
Top 1 starts after Benzema.
I'm answering this also with a little bit of a recency bias. So I've really enjoyed the season, watching Benzema flourish, do the things that he literally do, all the things that he wants to. Playing 1-2 with Vinicius, all the finishing, all the amazing headers, all the clutch moments that he has. I don't know. I'm still hesitant to put him as the top 1 Real Madrid player of all time. No, I'm not doing that. No, not yet. Top 5. Modest.
But the thing is, like, this has been one of the best seasons by a Real Madrid.
Oh, yeah.
Not necessarily the best Real Madrid. I'm not saying that Karim Benzema is the best Real Madrid player. But what I'm saying is, like, this season that Karim Benzema has played, I've never seen anybody carry a team like he has. He definitely had help from Vinicius and everybody. But the thing is, like, if not for Benzema, we might have been,
absolutely. There's no argument there. I would never argue that Benzema is irreplaceable in this team. He's been an absolute beast up front. He's pushing players around him to play. He's making the other winger, striker play whatever they want to, and which also allows, I think, Modric a lot of plays to work his magic. Even Benzema dropping in deep, he's been putting in an absolute shift of a performance the whole season. Of all of Benzema seasons, yes, best ever. Of all the striker seasons, top 5.
Okay, you're sticking to your guns. Farouk, when I haven't come to you this far, I am saving a very interesting question for you, right?
No,
okay.
I feel like today you just decide to be like, I'm the villain here. Like, I just have to be, I don't know.
No, I'm going to ask you this question because
Infinity Rings and, just make everyone vanish or something like that.
You are the prime reason we have an antithesis, like Farouk. We can't devoid you of that,
But okay, this question is something that might be controversial, but I'm sure everybody will have their opinions about this. Okay, Benzema, for everything that he has achieved with Real Madrid has shown a certain amount of loyalty towards the club as well. Because the thing is, like, whenever it comes to contract negotiations, just like Luka Modric, Benzema has been pretty flexible. He has signed 1-year extensions when need be. Never created issues about wages and everything, right? And he has always stuck by this team. He's never had this desire to go and take new challenges. So with that in mind, there was an interesting article on Marca. I think it was like a month ago, where it said Karim Benzema is a bigger Madridista than Cristiano Ronaldo. Do you agree with that?
Wow.
I think I do. Gotta be. Gotta be.
Wow.
Gotta be.
To be honest, it seems so, I don't
It's
know.
a loaded question, right?
Exactly. Whatever answer you give, man, like it's just gonna be like so.
You're gonna
so,
pick up all the Cristiano stands in here, bro. Absolutely.
Nah, so the thing is that I think the point is like, I think Cristiano is, obviously a better player, and I feel like, but then you have to consider the sacrifice that Karim Benzema made, like, staying at Madrid, like not. We had the whole I want to go hunting with the lion, and they gave me a cat comment, like out there as well. Like considering all those things, him still, maintaining the respect for the club, and we haven't seen the issues we had with Sergio Ramos or like with Cristiano or like with Gareth Bale, all different issues, like either requesting more money, requesting, more respect, requesting this and that. Like he's always just been there, like whatever the club needs, he does it. Like whatever they said by him, he just puts his head down, gets the job done, and eventually he got his time. So I think by looking at it from this direction, you can feel like, okay, yeah, he's been, he's a better, Madrid legend, is a better representative of Real Madrid. On the other hand, as well, like it's Cristiano Ronaldo, for God's sake. Like I don't really know, like.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So that's just it, man. Really, I'm on the fence on this, man. I just have no comment for this.
So then I will come to you later, but first I'll go to our somebody who's a card carrying member of the Cristiano Ronaldo fan club. Ria, what do you think about this thing that Benzema is a bigger Madridista than Cristiano Ronaldo?
I don't want to compare to that. But I'm sorry. I won't say that. I at this point of time, I really respect and love Karim Benzema more than Cristiano Ronaldo, because go Manchester United. But to the statement you said, no, I'm not sure what to comment on that. I will need some time to digest that, and then
okay. While Ria digest that, Sunil.
We get it. He is the greatest player in our history. He is the greatest player of all time.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also,
I still wonder why people
a lot of
play it.
nostalgia. There's also a lot of nostalgia with it, because three-peat, nobody's done it before. They did it with, like Farooq said, the whole Thanos thing. All of the Infinity Stones were just there. That team is still. We still respect that team. We still love that team, and yeah, the kind of impact that seeing Ronaldo on that Real Madrid team just come on, that does something to the other team, and it's still the case. I mean,
so the guys who were trying to argue with me, they were mentioning, oh yeah, like when I said, yeah, Cristiano had a brilliant team to back him, they were saying, you know what, Vinicius has stepped up massively. He has contributed to Benzema's increase in output. Yeah. Rodrigo has, Modric has helped him by rolling back a few years and whatnot. But bro, like the way you just gotta watch 10 seconds of that finish against Chelsea. The ball is coming in from the left. He's leaning in towards the left and heading it towards the right. That's enough. That one header is enough.
I think the answer is already there in the way that the question, the way that they are responding. Vinicius has stepped up. Rodrigo has stepped up. These were world-class superstars. Unlike, let's say you have a Bale available in his prime. Let's say you have a Di Maria. These are like cheat codes in a game, bro. It's in I don't know. There's no direct way to compare how Benzema's carried it. So yeah.
So, Ritvik, I think everybody so far has been hesitant to outright say Benzema is a bigger Madridista than Cristiano. Am I going to be disappointed
one way or the other
as well?
Oh, no. I'll outright say that Benzema is a bigger Madridista.
See, this is a brave guy. This is what a brave guy looks like.
That was unexpected.
But my take on this would be slightly subtle, in the sense that being a Madridista, I mean, Nacho is a greater or a bigger Madridista than Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In my opinion. But that doesn't take away anything from what that man has done.
Oh no,
for this club.
yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. This is not about
and the
sporting
question,
talent.
no. And what Sunet said was absolutely right. The intention of this question was never to get fruitful arguments out of it. It is, to compare these two personalities, because why not? Let's do it at this stage.
With Marca, you can safely assume that was the intention, and the thing is because I'm posing the question.
Because they have called Bale the parasite.
Parasite.
That was just
that was so bad. That was that.
But I think Benzema has been brilliant this season, especially given the fact that not only has he been brilliant with his goals and assists, he has also been brilliant with the way that he has marshaled the whole forward line with him. Because I think his impact on Vinicius and Rodrigo when they're playing alongside him cannot be understated. And the thing is, I was seeing that maybe he's taking Tchouaméni under his wing as well, because Tchouaméni could possibly sign for Real Madrid. I just say could possibly because we never know what happens.
Here we go. Actually, here we go. That's done.
Right now, I can't even trust here we go. I have too much PTSD. Okay. So the thing is, he was even giving Tchouaméni instructions. So I think Benzema also has that leadership skill that we previously didn't think that he had. But moving on from Benzema, there has to be this thing that we are too much blinded by Courtois, Benzema, and Vinicius that we fail to see other players who might have performed. So and not just players, even coaches, and scouts or presidents or whatever you go. So is there anybody else at Real Madrid who you would like to credit for this victory?
Yeah.
The unsung heroes.
Valverde.
Valverde and Camavinga.
What about you?
Pintus.
That's
my
guy.
You got this right.
Pintus is the GOAT, man. I mean,
I'm not going to lie, but this question of mine was sort of directed to getting that answer. So, since you guys mentioned Pintus, I would like to what do you guys think? What has changed with Pintus? What do you think has been different between him and Dupont?
yeah, just look at the injuries from last season and compare it to this
Definitely,
season.
that's you don't even have to say anything. Just take the stats sheet, man. Last season, I think we had I'm not sure. I might be throwing numbers are
64, I think.
Yeah, you were having wow, what's happening here, guys? Chill. What's going on?
That's the thing, Farouk.
I have an interesting question. Yeah, was it okay? I think you might be the only person capable of answering. Was it during the season under Dupont? There were those videos being leaked of guys being put through some mad regime.
Yeah, that was under Dupont.
Like Modric being crushed in the gym or something.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But I'll be honest, I have no expertise on judging whether that exercise was valid or not. So.
I think we have an idea about that. But yeah, go on.
Speaking of important players for Madrid right now, Jovic has scored a goal against Sweden. So
again,
I'm not saying he was important for Madrid, but he has scored a goal.
I mean, Jovic takes the random moments in a year to just score goals and just give us hope.
I think he was standing somewhere and he just hit the ball and nobody was watching him and he scored the goal.
No, it's actually a good goal. I just saw it on Reddit and it's pretty good.
It's start for Serbia, man. That's concerning. I have no idea what's going on.
I've actually seen Jovic play in person. It's pretty amazing. He is pretty amazing. I don't know what he is on at Madrid. Has he come on this season for I think he's come on at the end of 2 games or something, but
he scored a crucial goal, right? In a 2-1 win.
He scored
which one?
He scored
against La Real.
Oh yeah, fair play.
He scored against, sorry?
La Real, Sociedad.
Okay.
Real Sociedad.
Yeah.
There was that 2-game spell when he played against Sociedad and then he played against Inter Milan. I think those were the only 2 games that he was good at.
Oh, true.
I believe he even assisted Vinicius in a important goal. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was the same game against La Real.
Yeah. It was a good assist. Yeah.
Yeah, but then there's somebody else who I'd like to point out as an unsung hero because 18-19 is the season that as Real Madrid fans we tend to forget a lot. But then 18-19 was the season when Juni Calafat, he's the head of scouting at Real Madrid. He brought in 2 players who have been proven to be, very key this season in Vinicius and Fede Valverde. And not just them, I think Even Camavinga was scouted by Calafat, and even Rodrigo. There's Militao. All these guys were brought under his wing, so I think he's also somebody who deserves a lot of credit. And then there's also the fact that Ancelotti came back with Luis Lopez, the new goalkeeping coach. So I'm sure that also helped Courtois. But then moving on from unsung heroes.
One unsung hero for me, David Ancelotti.
Okay.
Because people tend to underrate this guy. People tend to mock him that he doesn't have his fucking professional certificate and whatnot for coaching, yeah? But him being Carlo's son, like people would actually be people would be very harsh on him.
Nepotism, the nepotism.
Yeah, exactly. Like I didn't want to say the fucking word, but thank you. It's like, yeah, nepotism, exactly. So, people wouldn't take him seriously, but he has been a very key figure in how we tend to manage very tricky games, and people actually listen to him. So it's very refreshing. I hope he succeeds as dad. Go on, okay.
So succeeds his dad as the Real Madrid manager?
No. Like in his footsteps.
Maybe AC Milan.
All right, cool. So I think we need to, moving on from this topic, I'm sure that somebody, we also want to talk about David Alaba, but that's something we could talk about later when we do the rankings. But moving on from that topic, I think there are two players there who deserve a special mention this time, because Bale and Marcelo are going to leave Real Madrid at the end of the season, at the end of glittering careers, especially in the case of Marcelo, the most trophies in Real Madrid history. So maybe we can take some time and discuss our favorite memories about these players. I'll just go first. My favorite Marcelo. Okay, this is not my favorite Marcelo memory, but this is my first Marcelo memory. Marcelo was still a young player at Real Madrid, and he comes on. He's playing left wing. He scores a goal, and everybody says, "Oh, Real Madrid have replaced Robinho by a lookalike." So, but the thing is, Marcelo ever since then has eclipsed whatever Robinho, achieved in his career. And I think all of us can agree that Marcelo was a really magical player. So maybe you guys can, chip in with your own memories. So then, why don't you go first?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
For me, bro, Marcelo has been alongside Iker and Raul, another pallbearer of our white shirt, and he has been exemplary both on the field and off it. For me, the most heartwarming memory of Marcelo would be the La Decima final, in which he came on as a substitute. Remember, he didn't start. Fabio Coentrao actually benched him for most of the season, and the goal and the equalizer when Ramos scored, and the pure emotion in him. I still remember the picture that breaks me the most is him and Casillas embracing. That just brings me to tears. It's something that I'll always remember. But for me, yeah, man, people tend to underestimate his influence in the making of a modern fullback. People tend to forget people like Marcelo because they don't have a very consistent, elongated careers, But I still remember people disrespecting him, comparing him to fucking Andy Robertson, mate, the wind up fucking merchant, This guy, over a couple of pints, he might give you a couple extra punches. I agree, bro. But in terms of pure skill, pure flair, no chance. Oh, what's that?
No, nothing. Go on.
Okay. So yeah, man, Andy Robertson, if you're watching, bro, you got to reconsider the position you're playing. Because I
don't know about Andy Robertson, but Farouz certainly has something to say about that.
No, it's not about that. It's about the fact that that's pure disrespect. The point is when you start to compare the likes of Andy Robertson, I don't know, João Cancelo, Trent Alexander-Arnold, all these fullbacks, to people like Marcelo, it's really. Well, then it also just why I'm actually shaking my head is that the reason why this keeps happening is that the garbage directors or whatever, the managers of La Liga and the Spanish football are garbage human beings who cannot promote shit. You understand? The only reason why the Premier League has so much fanfare is because they promote shit. And back to the point we were making actually earlier about Mika Richards and the Carragers and the Stuart Robson and the Ian Ducks and all these guys, all these British guys, they literally they're paid just to watch Premier League. They're paid to comment on Champions League. So what are you expecting? The man is literally every week sitting down and watching Andrew Robertson, and then he comes and see Marcelo once in 2 weeks. What do you expect him to make? You understand? So that's the thing. Like, it's really, really, really like, that's like the highest level of disrespect. Like even putting Robertson's name.
And them, like, I don't blame them, bro. Like, at least when I hear them on commentary, they're pretty unbiased.
That's commentary, man. Like the thing is that, like, for example, you see someone like Stuart Robson, like he works on ESPN, right?
Oh my God, Stuart Robson.
He's like a commentator on a lot of La Liga games. You understand Premier League and what is and what is not. But then you hear the comments he makes about these things, and like you feel like, wow, like there's nothing to say. Like it's just really disrespectful. Like it's just shameful. Like they're these kind of people whereby like they say shit. Like for example, like Mika Richard, like with Henry as well. He was like, this is the first time like Benzema is this, and Henry was like, just now. He was like, okay, that's it. Like because you can't argue with these people, you can't even educate them. That's the problem. That's all the thing. So that's why I was just shaking my head. Like
that's why the fucking ignorant and the fucking arrogant has been humbled. I think. I hope forever. This season. But, yeah.
I don't think so, man. After the game, man, you still see people like Michael Owen still claiming like Liverpool are the best team in the world. Like I don't know. So yeah, those guys wouldn't learn shit, man. They're not gonna learn anything, man. It's just what it is, unfortunately.
Absolutely, but for me, man, like Marcelo should be regarded as one of the true greats.
Because actually, go on, man. Go on. Just complete your sentence. Sorry, man.
No. Like for him to come in to a team that had Roberto Carlos as one of the greats as well, and to exceed him in terms of his own career and his own trademark position among Real Madrid greats is fantastic, man. It's stuff of dreams. Going forward.
Yeah, actually, that I was just gonna reinforce that point actually, because I was just gonna say that the only thing Marcelo is missing is winning that World Cup. But because for me personally, the point is that I haven't seen Carlos at his peak, and what is not. I started watching Madrid around 7th season. You understand? So I haven't seen Carlos at his peak. So like for me, like Marcelo is the guy. When you say name a fullback, like he's just like he's synonymous to fullbacks in my dictionary. Like name a fullback, name Marcelo, that's just the same thing. You understand? So like for me, like just because of the lack of the World Cup, I'm actually gonna say like he's the best fullback that's out there. But then just because of the lack of World Cup, which the likes of Cafu and Carlos have, so I think that's the only thing that he's missing. So yeah.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily agree with the fact that Marcelo has exceeded Roberto Carlos, but I think this thing is about giving credit to Marcelo, so I'm not really going too deep about that. So
obviously, like I understand your sentiment, bro. Like I didn't imply that like Marcelo.
Okay, I get it.
Like on skills, right? Like he would excel or something, and like people would argue his CV would be better than Carlos. But I get your point. Carlos was a different breed. The man had goal-scoring chaos like no other fullbacks,
And I think his left foot is the strength of his left foot is like unparalleled. But today is not the day to talk about that. Today is about Marcelo, and maybe I'll give the rest of our panel a chance to reminisce about Marcelo and Bale, because Gareth Bale is also living around Madrid. So
and Isco.
The floor is yours, guys.
And Isco.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And Isco. I mean, that's a big player to forget. Can't do that. Oh, am I speaking? I. For me, Marcelo, he's been a staple of the team. As in, I think of forming a team. Like, ask me 3 years before. Marcelo is probably the first player that I would name to be in the team. The kind of crosses, the kind of contribution that he makes to the attacks, the kind of tracking back that he did at that time, arguably came down season after season as he got older. The kind of tracking back, the kind of defensive abilities that he could contribute to the team arguably came down later, but that doesn't take away the kind of attacking prowess that he contributes to the team. So people right now talk about Trent Alexander-Arnold, how he may be the best crosser in the game, whatever. Marcelo's been doing that for as long as I can remember. So yeah, that's still one of the biggest things that I remember. Put him there, he'll do something that gets you closer to winning the game. And yeah, I could give you like countless examples, countless goals. I can probably show you a YouTube compilation with Despacito remakes of all the Marcelo contributions. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, Ria and Ritvik, quickly, is there a particular Marcelo moment that that made you guys just go wow?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of moments, but one that I can remember off the top of my head is the Bayern Munich game when he assisted for Ronaldo. I think the hat trick, it was Ronaldo's hat trick goal. And
Yeah.
wow, like that, I was like, fuck that. That's a Brazilian right there. That's how Brazilians play.
So yeah, Ritwik showed his passion by taking off his glasses and pointing it
Yeah,
out.
yeah, exactly.
So, Ria, do you have anything to add?
Are you talking about the same goal that Ronaldo has a header for?
No. It's
The
the
one
one
he squared to.
Quiet ball.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I remember the one where he assisted and Ronaldo shoot a header. So
Well, okay. I think we should also give credit to the fact that Marcelo was the guy who actually equalized for Real Madrid in the first leg against Bayern Munich in that two-legged tie. So, but enough about Marcelo and moving on. I think we have to talk about Gareth Bale and what sort of legacy do you guys think he leaves at Real Madrid, especially because for me, I think there's two parts of Gareth Bale, right? There's the first 4 years of Gareth Bale where he was an absolute legend, and then there's the second part of Gareth Bale in the last 4 years where he's been worse than Mariano. So I wonder what you guys think about.
What with Mariano? Bro, put some respect.
last 4 years, actually, in this year, he actually played golf and won a football trophy. That was legendary. So,
Living the dream.
That helped us to lead for the UCL final was one of my favorite memories.
Okay.
110th minute header.
So that you had some strong views about my statement.
Gareth Bale is someone I am very passionate about. His whole demeanor, especially in his earlier part of his career with us and his days at Tottenham, was sensational. He had some of the best one-man performances that I've seen in my lifetime, especially in the Premier League. And then when he came to us, I had high hopes. I'm still not gonna lie. His first goal against Villarreal, I was kind of bummed off. It wasn't anything special. Like I expected something special, and then he started pulling those extraordinary finishes a couple of weeks later. His long-range free kicks, his amazing off-the-ball movement, his work rate, his defensive work rate. People tend to forget how good he was tracking back, and he is the sort of player that somehow had the nous to be in those match-defining moments somewhere, either on the end of it or the player who lays it on a plate. He had that ability to catch a game by the scruff of its neck and completely kill it. Like this guy doesn't get enough respect. I think down the line when people reflect on his earlier part of his Real Madrid journey, people would realize how much he did.
We need to give him credit for his World Cup qualification for Wales, because that deserves a lot of respect. So I really appreciate him for that.
After 64 years, yeah?
Yeah.
There's a funny fact. The last time they got knocked out was by a young Pele. It's mad. Gareth Bale is a true icon, and in due time he'll be revered to as one of the greats.
Yeah, maybe hopefully this time they get knocked out by young Vinicius. But then, Farouk, I would like to ask you this: do you think Real Madrid saw the best of Gareth Bale, or was his best at Tottenham in the season before he came to Real Madrid?
I think we saw the very best of Gareth Bale. I think we saw the very best of Gareth Bale. But the thing is that what we have to put into context is that Gareth Bale at Spurs, he was the man, So he was the limelight was totally on him. But I think
left back by trade. Imagine that.
Yeah, at the beginning he was a left back, but when we bought him, he was playing as a number 10 for Antonio Boas. So he was a really good player, to be honest. I think we saw the very best of him. At the first 3 seasons, I would say he was very good, to be honest, and you had no problem with him. But also at a certain point in time, he lost. I would say he lost his way, or he lost his passion. I don't know what exactly happened, and with his also injury records and what is not. So yeah, that's just it. But I feel for me personally, the thing is that Gareth Bale is just the legend you don't like. At first, I was really, really high on Gareth Bale. Really, really high. Very high on Gareth Bale. But then, because we were there, we were watching the Premier League and we were seeing, literally Gareth Bale, just taking the ball from the goalkeeper and, just going post to post and scoring literally week in, week out, And then you come and just, you come and see like Gareth Bale literally is like injured, and then the next week he goes and plays for Wales, and then he comes back and then he's injured again, and then he goes and plays for Wales. And so eventually, like, we have to consider this, like, your primary duty is like to Real Madrid, like, eventually. So how do you deal with that? So I think from a English perspective, like, I mean, from the whole UK perspective, like, Gareth Bale is an absolute legend. They can take nothing away from that. But I think from our perspective, it's gonna be like, okay, he's someone you can't deny his place, like, in the folklore, like, he's a legend. But like, is he a legend that you would put the poster on your wall? No. So that's just it.
Okay, Ritvik and Yadu, my question to you guys would be: do you guys agree with the statement that Gareth Bale is the greatest British player of all time?
I think he should be.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't think anyone who comes close, like who would be right behind him.
I'm not sure. I'm just asking. I guess.
I think I'll put Gerrard behind him, but other than that,
Gerrard about
Steven
Rooney?
Gerrard.
No, not
I have actually
not-
heard people say Rooney, but then there's a case also to be made for George
That's
Best.
it. That's it. Like, there is no
George
doubt.
Best.
There is no doubt. It's one fucking Rooney, guys. Like, how can you even do that? Like, I don't know how you can.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that there is a case for Gareth Bale. I can't deny that. But like, Rooney is the guy. He's been
Rooney was the
playing
greatest, you mean?
since 16. Consistency, guys. That's it. Put it into context, man. He's been playing since 16.
He sounds like we put some MUFC fan in a Real Madrid podcast.
No, he's a
Like,
footballer man.
Farouk has a very interesting history of the kind of fandoms he's taken.
No, it's not about that. Really, like, Rooney was the guy.
Rooney was
guys.
mad.
No,
I
no,
remember
no.
seeing
Rooney
him
was
play.
the
Like,
guy.
he was insane.
was the
The
guy.
way he pressed.
But then
Golden
Gareth
boy, right?
He had more to his
Gareth Bale
game.
has 5 Champions League titles, 4, like at least 3 of whom he was key for. Wayne Rooney has 1.
Yeah, like that's a very valid point, to be honest. Like, Rooney has one, like, but then you're not comparing just based on the Champions League alone, right? So we have to consider, like,
I mean, I could also put down his accomplishment with Wales, right? Because Gareth Bale, lest you forget, dragged Wales to the Euros in 2016 and then took them to the semi-finals. I don't remember Rooney ever doing that with England.
England that far, no chance.
I mean, Bale played
No.
in EPL and he had 2 PFA awards, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yeah.
And back to back, I think, is the only player who did it after Ronaldo himself.
Did he win back to
right?
back, or did he win 2 awards in a single season for the young player?
Back to
and the
back.
best player?
He won
It was back to back. Yeah, he was the only
won
player to
back to
do it after Ronaldo. I think someone
won
has done
back
it
to back.
after him, but till time
Kevin
Gareth-
De Bruyne has done it. as
Hi,
well.
Kevin De Bruyne has done that
has won
now.
back to
So,
back.
like, Rooney played EPL, but did he win PFA? I don't remember, honestly.
No, I don't think
Yeah.
Rooney won the PFA player. I think he won the PFA young player, but I can't
Yeah,
remember.
he
him
did
winning
one.
the
Yeah, PFA Young. I remember. I don't remember him winning the
Farouk, Steve
PFA.
McManaman has more Champions League titles than Wayne Rooney.
That's not the point. Like, okay, like, I think Rooney has 8 Premier League titles. How many La Liga titles does Gareth Bale has? So, like, you can't go based on that. Like, the point now becomes, like, the truth is that, okay, Gareth Bale might have a higher ceiling, but, like, when you check across the span of the career, the point is that Gareth Bale has been garbage since he's been 29. He literally has retired at the age of 29.
I mean, Wayne Rooney also started declining at an early age, relatively.
Yeah.
But that's the point is, like,
Yeah.
although Wayne Rooney started declining, like, Rooney kept on performing, like, obviously at a
He was
lower,
a
like, not at
early
a high
boomer.
level.
Rooney, right? Kind of
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Michael
Rooney was
Owen.
kind of like Michael Owen.
All English players are early boomers. That's just a thing. Like, there is name an
Yeah.
English player who, like, I think except for like Steven Gerrard and Frank Lampard, I think all English players are early boomers. Jack Wilshere, I don't know, Dele Alli, Raheem Sterling. The list goes on and on and on and on. So that's just it. Even Gareth Bale himself is an early boomer. So yeah.
Yeah, dude, I'm probably going to assume that you think Gareth Bale is the greatest British player of all time.
No,
Would I be
but
fair?
here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I see both sides to the coin. I agree that Gareth Bale, I think that Gareth Bale is maybe one of the most decorated British players, yes. But I also agree that Rooney is more of an icon than Gareth Bale is.
Oh my God. Really?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
I do. Wayne Rooney is
So
more
now
of
you
an
don't
icon.
agree, right?
Wayne Rooney is more of an icon than Gareth Bale is to not Real Madrid fans. I'm speaking in a Real Madrid podcast. I don't expect any of you to agree with me. But you speak to somebody who was more invested in the whole British area. Yeah,
Of course.
you would come away with. I mean, I
Rooney,
see their
more
point. I
Rooney.
see their point, and I know that Gareth Bale is not as much of an icon as
For
Wayne Rooney
them.
is to them. For them, yeah, absolutely. But my counter question would be: is he the best player from the British area to come to Real Madrid?
I
Probably.
think the answer is yes.
Definitely. Who
Nobody
else?
can
No, I think Gabriel is the best British export. Like you can't deny that. Like anyone who left,
Indeed.
exactly, he's the best British export. I think when you come, I think that's the key point. Actually, I think that's the key word. Like you have to use. Like you would say, like Wayne Rooney is like regarded as like widely like the influence of Wayne Rooney is much more felt than that of Gareth Bale. I would say.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's just the thing.
Okay, guys, let's move on from this topic of Bale and Marcelo, and
Isco.
maybe
Isco.
Isco, yeah,
Isco, my boy.
favorite.
Okay,
Like,
bro. Second time you're forgetting, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, Isco has been pretty
Not
disappointing
considering
from
Isco
the
out
hopes
of the club.
from the hopes he came in with, right? So yeah, for me, it's been
From the hopes
he's
he
been a
came in
disappointment.
with, you thought he would go down as exactly
Oh,
where?
wait. Before that, people would hate us if I don't mention this. The best Gareth Bale goal for me of all time is his goal against Barcelona, Copa del Rey. If I have a frame that I can put that goal in and see it, I would daily. I would still get goosebumps every time, because that belongs in a museum, and I had to say that because people would probably give us shit if I don't say that in a Real Madrid podcast. So.
So
Big ups.
does the defender. He also belongs in a museum.
But he fair play to him, bro. He still has his manhood, He still has his career. He still plays for Betis, So he has
You have to give a career to destroy it, right? That's how it goes.
fair play, I guess.
Okay, but then
Yeah.
going back to your point about Isco, I think the thing is like for me, when Isco came in, the thing is like Ozil was one of my favorite players at Real Madrid, and I think the departure of Ozil was somehow like the arrival of Isco had a part to play in it. So I'm one of the biggest fans of Isco from that time. But the thing is like when Isco came in, I had this impression that Isco was probably okay. I don't expect him to be Cristiano or Messi or even like the levels Benzema is reached today. But the thing is like you had a hope from Isco that at least he would be better than being a starter for just 2 seasons. Because I think beyond that one and a half season, Isco has never been a starter at Real Madrid. So for me, I expected more of him from that. And ever since his fallout with Santiago Solari, I think Isco has not been able to hold down a position at Real Madrid. So it's
Fair
been how
enough.
many years?
But it's more about players coming off the bench and making an immediate impact. I think it goes back to the 17 season when we had consistent subs such as Isco, Asensio, and Morata at the same time. So those would be our 3 rolling substitutions. Isco coming in, holding the ball so that nobody can touch him. He's a skillful player on the ball, on his day, untouchable player. And yeah, that's one of the biggest reasons that Isco will still be regarded as one of the biggest players in Real Madrid.
Actually, for me, this is just like I actually felt this. Like for me, I always like felt bad for Isco because I loved him a lot. I always like wanted him to leave Madrid because I felt like Isco is one of those dying breeds.
That's the thing, right? He's so much quality, but he doesn't play. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I mean, what happens now is that like Isco is such a player that is not flexible at all. He's a dying breed. He's a specialist. He does what he does. Exactly. He does what he does very well, and he cannot do anything else. So you understand? So and then I always wanted him to leave in the sense that at that point we had coaches who were playing with this kind of players. At that point in time, we had I think Arsenal was playing with that under Arsene Wenger. Mourinho was still playing with the number 10. And like even in Italy as well, they were still using the playmakers as well. So I really wanted Isco to leave to go to those teams that utilize this specialty players. But I just felt like it was just an issue of the wrong timing, I'd say. Because the point we had the BBC then, and then KCM came along, so like it was literally an impregnable midfield. Like what was he supposed to do? At the end of the day. So I just felt like, as you said, like it's a double-edged sword. Like, is it his fault? Like, did he do enough, or like was he at the wrong place at the wrong time? So yeah.
But my counter question is to you, Hoke. Do you think duodecima happens without Isco?
Okay.
Good question.
That's an interesting question, actually.
Good question.
I think it does. There's a possibility that it does. because the reason that Isco came into the team was because Gareth Bale got injured.
Yeah.
But when Gareth Bale was fit, Zidane preferred Gareth Bale to Isco. You know, if you think back to the time when there was a Clasico, Gareth Bale came back from injury, and Zidane pushed Bale in front of Isco, as hard as it may be for somebody who started supporting Real Madrid only recently to believe, because Zidane rated Gareth Bale more. So I think even without Isco, I think there's a good possibility that the duo doesn't happens.
I don't agree with that though. I don't agree with that, to be honest. I think just for that single season, I think that's the only reason why I think that was when Isco put himself in the folklore of Real Madrid. Like that season was like he literally came to the fore and like he was unplayable, man. He was unplayable.
Okay, I guess we have to take Isco for what he gave us, and then move on. So I think the last part of our discussion today is going to be how do we rank players? Definitely not Mbappe. How do we rank players based on the season they have put forward? I think Farouk made an interesting point where he said that he would put Courtois second, because I think we all agree that Benzema is first. And so who do you guys put third? Will it be Vinicius or Modric? Vinicius, right?
Modric.
Vinicius.
Vinicius.
Okay, why Modric over Vinicius?
Without Modric, there's no way that those goals are happening. He's been key involved. He's been dropping back. He's been playing CB. He's been leading the ball from the back, and the guy has been all over the pitch. He's playing like I don't know. He's not even playing like he's 25. I don't know. He's
36.
more.
And you can't forget he's 36. And he's doing all the magic.
Exactly.
So what do you think?
Exactly. Without him, there's no build up. He is that key, which all the teams target, and then he still manages to break away and create something absolutely amazing. The outside of the foot, cross, pass, magic, fairy dust, whatever you want to call it, which Rodrigo scored. My highlight of the season. So yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
That assist.
Modric.
But I think for me personally, let me just refer the question to Yadu. The point is this: aren't you expecting this from Modric though? Like, I mean, it's the man is a Ballon d'Or winner, right? Like, so it's not like, okay, yeah, obviously because he's older, you expect a drop in performance, right? But the reason why I go for Vinicius is that, like, do you expect this from Vinicius? 100% no. Even Vinicius doesn't expect Vinicius to perform this good. So, like, that's the whole gist of the thing. For me personally, I feel like, the development of Vinicius and, because I could remember, like last season, even at the beginning of this season, we had defenders who were like, okay, yeah, let him just go. He's not going to do anything. That kind of, you could actually see that kind of thing from defenders when they were defending Vinicius. Yeah, let him go. He's not going to do shit, But like this season, like he was just left and right hitting bangers, being in the right place at the right time. So I feel, that development is the reason why I place Vinicius as number 3.
Fair play. That's actually the reason I place him fourth, but fair.
I didn't think
Fair's fair.
It's so hard to
Each their own.
Suned, you had a point. You were saying.
No, like it's so hard to argue who has third or fourth. But I got to side with Farouk. Vinicius has been truly one of the great up and coming wingers this season.
I really hope Vinicius. I
guess
hope that Vinicius gets like a cool nickname. I mean, Il Fenomeno is taken, I know, but then I think I hope he gets something like absolutely magical.
Okay, till he gets a new nickname, we're just gonna call him Vinny. But the thing is, like, after maybe the consensus is Vinicius and Modric are third and fourth. But then, what do you guys think about who comes after them?
Rodrigo
Rodrigo, Alaba. What do you guys think?
Alaba for me.
I would put Mendy over Alaba.
Mendy or Alaba? Are you sure?
Militao.
Exactly, Suned, right? Militao, right? I was like, why this guy?
I mean, yeah, even Militao before Alaba. But
exactly.
I think Mendy has been pretty solid at the back this season.
You put Mendy above Militao and Alaba. That's it.
I think, Alaba and Militao, they have had some brain farts during this season, if I can use that word.
Mendy has had it.
Well, you already used that word. You can't ask after using if I can use that word.
I mean, okay, yeah, no, we can't try it. Anyway, fuck. What I'm trying to say is that, well, like, I don't know. It just feels like he has been every time he was not there as left back position was always very vulnerable. Even though Nacho did a great job and whatnot, but when there's Mendy in your team, there's some sort of assurance that that side won't be vulnerable as
Yes,
such.
one of the
But
saves against Chelsea or City was
even that, the
City,
City
it was a City.
goal line clearance was
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
I mean,
goal line
I'll
clearance.
put. He's not appreciated much. I don't know why. He's very underrated. But personally, I think he's been phenomenal. Even
You know why
last year,
people
there were
underrate him?
stats.
Do you know why
Yeah.
people tend to underrate him, Ritwik? It's because of his attacking deficiencies, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, I fully embrace the fact that he's not wonderful going forward. But even last season and this season, you can pick out your stats and whatnot. Whenever he has played, Madrid has been brilliant
Better.
defensively. You know, that's
Yeah.
and that's a fact. You cannot
You-
deny it, no matter what you do.
There's an interesting thing. I was talking to a fan of Olympique Lyon, and he was saying when Mendy was at Lyon, they were more happy about the fact that he was good offensively than they were with his defensive output. And then this guy comes to Madrid, he becomes great defensively, and his offensive output goes I don't know where.
Maybe he
But
wins,
then
he wins better
I
next
think
season.
me, Farouk, and Sunil are pretty much on board with the fact that I think probably would consider Militao and Alaba fifth and sixth, especially given the fact that Alaba also brought in leadership with him to replace Sergio Ramos.
True.
Right? So I think
Plus,
that's
he's
interesting.
He's new to the team. He just came in and he's fitted in straight.
You know, the team, number 4 is back, So much expectation, man. So much.
Yeah, and he
expectation.
shouldered
But
that,
it's-
and he did a good job of it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned,
To be
he put in
fair,
a good
it's
ship.
not like he hasn't been in this situation before. He played for Bayern Munich in that position, so it's not exactly new
I
to
mean,
him.
as good as a team as Bayern is, I think the expectation at Real Madrid
It's
is
still
completely
different from. I would say it's still different.
True.
Especially,
True, but-
especially seeing that he's an Austrian and he speaks German. He's coming into a team that's, yeah,
That speaks
completely
Spanish.
different.
yeah.
Yeah, the mentality is totally different. So moving on, I think where do you guys think you would rank Valverde and Rodrigo and Camavinga this season?
Confusing.
So we are up until what, 6 now?
I think we did 4, 6, and Mendy's probably 7.
Mendy
Wow. Guys, I'll put Carvajal at 7 before Mendy for me personally.
Carvajal has been very bad for the first half of the season.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree
Retweet
with
as
Ryan,
well.
cannot
yeah.
forget
First
that.
half, for the first half, really, I also give Carvajal a lot of shit. But the man stepped up.
But you were giving him shit, Farouk. You were giving him shit, especially
So
in the final.
isn't this what I'm saying, right? I'm saying like the man has given a lot of garbage performances, but he stepped up at the end of the day.
No, he
I
definitely
don't
stepped
necessarily
up.
agree with the fact that he was bad first half of the season. I think there was a period in time in the middle of season when he was bad, but at the start, once he came back, our right side improved tremendously. But then he got COVID around the time of Super Cup, and after he came back from COVID, I think Carvajal had a very bad turn of form. I think it was only towards the end of the season that he recovered, and I think that was something that I expected. So I think Carvajal at 7 is also a good shout. Would you put Mendy at 8 then, or would you go with one of Valverde, Camavinga, and Rodrigo?
No, Mendy at 8, I think. I think 7, 8, Mendy, Carvajal, something like that. I don't know. That would be the right thing to do, I guess.
That should be good.
Okay, then moving on. Where do you guys rank Rodrigo, Camavinga, and Valverde?
So I think
Sure.
Valverde, I don't know about the ranking, this is my personal opinion. Valverde, Rodrigo, Camavinga. Like,
Definitely.
you can have, that's
Yeah.
how I will put it. Like,
So Valverde,
but one
Rodrigo,
thing-
Camavinga.
Yeah, Valverde. But I have to
Okay.
say one thing that I think Valverde has, he performed better last season than he did this season. Like, I mean, obviously he got less chances, I believe, this season, but his performance was definitely. I enjoyed
think-
watching him play.
I think towards the end of the season, Valverde was.
Oh no, definitely Valverde
Oh, yeah.
has never I'm not saying he diminished as his quality diminished or anything happened. He has definitely improved. Is it that I enjoyed? He was given more chance last season, and I really enjoyed watching him play. This season, at least towards the start or even like middle part of it, he did not have so much playing time. And no, I mean, you can't replace Modric just like that. Put out Cruz or Casemiro. But I think moving forward, I'm really excited to see where
Where is
Valverde
Cruz?
this.
Where is-
Cruz, we'll come to Cruz, I guess. But I'm
Okay.
really excited about Valverde. I think
I
he's
think-
the most interesting prospect we have, right?
So are we all agreed with the fact that it's Valverde, Rodrigo, Camavinga, or do you want to change things?
Second half of the season, Valverde has been amazing. First half of the season, arguable. But then again, I'd say all three players first half of the season, not much.
Okay.
Clutch.
So,
yes.
Rodrigo Camavinga is a good player, but Farouk, do you have something to say on Camavinga? Come on.
Camavinga is 25, Farouk, and we all know that, so.
Nah, I have nothing to say, man. As I said, like during the
I'm
last
going to
show,
ask you something very important, yeah? So,
yeah,
he is what? 11th on our list now?
Yeah.
he's 11 on the list. Yeah,
11, right? So, do you think he has a chance of going higher up in that ranking next season?
Who?
Camavinga?
Camavinga is 10th, not
Definitely.
11th. He's 10th.
No, he's 11.
10th, eh? Okay. Farouk, so do you think he'll go up?
Definitely. That's what I expect from him right now. I expect him to go up. So that's the thing. But then my fear now becomes is like with the apparent, acquisition of Aurelien Tchouameni, if it eventually goes through, I don't know how that's going to impact the game time. Although, Modric is a bit older, so maybe he might slow down a bit. I don't know. Toni Kroos might also, get relaxed a bit as well. I don't know how they would play out the logistics of the game time distribution, but I expect Camavinga to kick a gear in next season.
Similar player, So yeah, that worries me. But let's see. Like it's, I guess depth is no harm.
Okay, I think right now we need to answer the question that Ria asked. Where do you rank Cruz?
Oh my God. Okay.
Do you put him in before or after these three? Especially you, Sunil, with your Cruz has.
He doesn't have legs. Yeah.
I gotta put my hands up, bro. Last.
Do you consider Casemiro in the squad or not?
Yeah,
See, that's what I was
Casemiro
gonna
as well,
ask.
right?
That's what I was gonna ask. Yeah, what?
I think for
I
me,
mean, the floor is totally open to you guys. You guys can name names and do everything.
I think for me personally, it's about the fact that the impact these three guys had, So I feel like, just the impact they had in their own in the Champions League, for me, that makes them go above Toni Kroos and Casemiro for me. But I think just immediately after them comes Kroos and Casemiro as well. But then on the other hand, then this is your starting 11, I guess. So your starting 11 should be the best 11 of the season, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense as well.
Okay.
I mean, Casemiro then Cruz, right? Casemiro then Cruz, or the other
Yeah,
way around?
definitely from.
Oh, I don't know about that. Like for me, I was constantly worried about Casemiro losing possession.
I was worried about Cruz.
very
I thought that Cruz was, slowing down. He's not what he used to be. He had to be substituted for the game to turn around.
Yeah, but
So then Cruz has been a point of concern. I think that Cruz will.
done it all. He's like what 33, and he is playing in a high octane semi-final with 10 minutes to go. He should be knackered. So it's like I get that, but
No, but that's the thing, right? You see KCM and you compare Cruz against Modric, and then that's where everything gets confusing. At least for me, Cruz has been a point of concern. I've been at the beginning of the season, I thought that this would be Cruz's final season here.
me too.
And yeah, that's definitely it's still something that I want to see.
Develop,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, so a bit more of development should be to replace Cruz than it is to replace Modric. Players should grow into that role more than
I
they
think
do the others.
Tchouameni is somebody who can take some of the.
Yeah,
some of
hopefully
the
so,
impact
yeah.
boosters.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I think moving on after Cruz and Casemiro, it's obviously Nacho, right? I don't think we're debating
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
Yeah,
Nacho.
Big game player. man.
Brilliant.
Big game player.
big game player, big game Madridista. Yeah, after that, I don't think we have a lot of options, right? Do we go for Marco Asensio or is there somebody else?
Lucas Vazquez.
Oh, yeah,
Definitely.
Lucas Vazquez.
Yes. Lucas Vazquez before Marco Asensio for sure.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, Lucas
Okay,
Vazquez.
Marco Asensio's stock has fallen a lot, right? Now that we're down to Marco Asensio, is there anybody else who got a consistent amount of game time? Who you guys think should be recognized?
A better goal with his girlfriend. Actually, she's better.
Shots fired. Oh God.
So do you guys want to highlight anybody else who was good for us this season?
Andre Lunin.
Let's
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lunin had a good penalty save against Cadiz. Yeah,
Exactly.
definitely
He
good.
played.
Yeah.
He played well whenever he came
He
on.
got a
Mostly,
chance.
99% of the time. Yeah.
Showed promise.
Mariano had a goal too. Somehow Rodrigo created one for
Mariano
him.
is, I won't even rate him 25th. So that's.
Why are you looking up all the players?
And then I think we have already given enough time to Marcelo and Gareth Bale, talking about them. So,
I think Luka Jovic had also like a good 2 game spell, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that was which were mentioned earlier.
Are we missing anybody else? Somebody. who
Maybe the
did
chat
well
can
in the
tell us.
first-
Hey chat, are we missing somebody?
Okay, if you want to go on.
Yeah, Ceballos had actually towards the end of the season, he had a few good games.
Actually,
Really enjoyed-
I was waiting for Sunet to say him because the thing is like Sunet with Arteta refuses to recognize how good Ceballos has been for us this
How
season.
good. He's been okay at best. I'll give him that. That's it. Full stop.
Mikel Arteta wasted Ceballos' time playing him in, I don't know, as a defensive midfielder. or
Oh, so
whatever.
you're blaming Arteta for all the Ceballos.
The thing is like every player comes out and says Arteta is such a good manager, but when they actually play on the field, nobody does anything. So I don't really know what good Arteta does.
I'm not an Arteta fan. I haven't told you that.
I don't know. You hate Ceballos. I'm assuming you're Team Arteta.
Hate Ceballos because he's good for nothing, bro. I had such high hopes for him, and he turned out to be just about average. Nah, mate, it wouldn't cut it.
I think Ancelotti was sufficiently enthused with what Ceballos offered, and I think there's a chance that Ceballos would be offered an extension. But then I was disappointed by the way he messed up that third chance against Liverpool to go to.
God. Man could have buried it, like 2-0, easy.
So I guess moving on,
Vallejo.
we pretty much covered every player, right?
Vallejo.
Isco?
Vallejo.
Vallejo was good when he got the chance, and Isco, I again forgot him, but the thing is, like, Isco barely played this season. Yeah, but I guess that's it, right? There's nobody else we're forgetting.
Hazard, we haven't mentioned yet,
But he was injured. He barely played.
Good reason. I mean, Hazard has been making promises that the next season will be his best.
Let's see.
It reminds me of the politicians we have back home, right, Yabu?
He said the same thing last season, so same. So
But I think he had a good game for Belgium against Poland yesterday, so that's something to keep in mind.
I saw the game. He was okay, bro. He fucking missed an open net, Open net. Open net.
The best of us,
nowhere.
right? It happens to the best of us. Believe in
He
Hazard,
will
right?
stay because Chelsea are still benefiting from each trophy he's winning with us. He's actually playing here for Chelsea.
I think there are no more bonuses left to pay out. All of the rest are just his performance related. So.
Okay, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I choose not to believe in Hazard in hopes that he surprises me, in the hopes that he shuts me up just as another Belgian player has shut me up. So yeah.
Yeah, that's just what Sunil would say. So I'll take it on board. So moving on from these rankings, I would just like to, this has been a brilliant season for us. Is there something you're looking forward towards for the next season? For me personally, I want to see how Camavinga develops and to see maybe if Hazard delivers on his promises. What about you guys?
I want to see Rodrigo play as center strike, like CT position, ST position if Benzema is unavailable for some reason. Like I want to see Rodrigo flourish in that role. I hope so.
So what about you? Is there something in particular you're looking forward to?
For me, it would be the introduction of Tchouaméni. For me, he looks like a real prospect. I think he can be another jack of all trades like Camavinga, but he's much more refined than Camavinga. But yeah, to Ritwik's point, I don't think Rodrigo has the physicality to play a lone striker. No, maybe in a two-striker formation, yeah, that could be a shout, but in a lone striker formation, no chance.
Yeah, I think this is something that we discussed, right, Farooq? That we didn't really think that he could play, centrally. But then, is there anything, the arrival of Rudiger or something else that enthuses you?
So actually, that's what I was going to point out. To me, I'm really keen to see how Rudiger is integrated into the team. What happens, with the Militao-Alaba partnership? Does it become a Militao-Alaba Rudiger thing where Mendy is phased out of the team, or how is that being played out? I'm really curious to see that, to be honest. But then speaking of, there's someone talked about Tchouaméni. I was just wondering, what do you guys think? 100 million euros, isn't it a bit hyperinflated, or what do you guys think? Is it a good buy? I don't know. the fees has been reported.
Hoke was arguing that it's the market price. I get it, but you can choose to opt out of it and wait. And if the player really needs to, needs his remove and whatnot, like.
Did you just say choose to opt out and do what then?
Sunil, we should believe in Papa Perez.
Fair play.
Okay, I guess.
Here's
so,
the thing,
like,
right? Here's the thing, Sunil. Just taking over from where you left off. One of the things that I'm looking forward to the most next season is to seeing what we do with the midfield. With Tchouaméni coming in, Valverde ending the season on a high, and Camavinga being the prodigy that he is. I really want to see how that plays out with the midfield that we have with KCM. If all things are exactly as they stayed this season, I don't expect that much rotation in the team. And yeah, that's one of the pain points that I don't want to talk about. And I'm really excited to see what we'll do with the midfield with all the options that we now have. And yeah, that's
I
where my
would just
focus will be on.
pump the brakes on the whole Tchouaméni thing, because although Fabrizio has said, here we go, I think yesterday in the Spanish media, the rumor was from Pedro that Tchouaméni has not been signed yet. So
Fair enough. Even without Tchouaméni, we still have a midfield to figure out. And yeah, our players aren't bad. Our
I
players
don't
are.
believe that journalist. He has actually put totals 10,000 times in his status. Okay.
I mean, he was right when he said that Real Madrid are going to go for Mbappe in last year towards the end of the window, and that's when Real Madrid went. And it cannot be denied the fact that he has a line to the club.
He also said that
close to
Messi would
Florentino
stay.
Perez.
He also said that Messi would stay, and that's
Messi. I think the thing about Messi is the fact that Messi had an agreement, but John Laporta at the last moment pulled it. So you can't really do anything about that.
So let's see.
You know what? Like, I want to pose an interesting question. Yeah, we discussed what we would like to see from our team next season. Yeah, but do you guys think Barcelona, the likes of Atleti, and the likes of Betis, Sevilla, they pose a real threat to our La Liga crown next season?
Definitely, I think so. At least Barcelona would, try to regain whatever, if they have anything to regain at this point. But I think they'll come out all guns blazing. No one is really expecting them to do anything at this point, and I think Xavi might have a plan, but I'm really interested. I think the Clásicos will be quite fun. So I'm excited about that at least. But I think Sevilla would be a much greater challenge to our title race than Atletico. It's my personal opinion, but let's see what happens.
For me, I think I'll wait till the end of the window to comment on that, because we don't really know what the teams will look like going to the next season.
Yeah.
Since Ritvik mentioned the Barca thing, yeah, like, what do you guys think, man? Whenever Barca tries to go after a player, when they try to tap up someone, they usually have this convulsive fits in the press, yeah? Like, they tend to forget their own persona and they act unlike themselves. Like,
they act like a spoiled child.
Yeah, like, can you imagine Lewandowski coming out in the open and saying the stuff he's been saying for the past few days?
I can. Here's the thing, right? Whenever Barca want a player, they make the player do the most absurd, ape shit thing ever.
It's kind of a satanic ritual, I think.
It is. It's about
but
burning
then
bridges.
You guys also have to consider the fact that Lewandowski has a history of being a diva. Because, if you guys remember, there was this one season where he lost out to Aubameyang in the for the top goal scorer in Bundesliga, and he blamed everything on his wingers because he said the players are not creating enough opportunities for me. So Lewandowski has this thing, but the point about Barcelona, and unsettling players is also true. And I think there was an interesting point that Fabrizio Romano once made. He said that Barcelona is the club that leaks the most amount of stuff to the media. So that is something that is well known. And, Barcelona have a history of unsettling players in their pursuits. Like, the biggest of them being Cesc Fabregas, That one you should know because you're a big Arsenal fan.
That was painful.
Can't take it, bro. Anyway.
So I guess this is a good ending point for us. Maybe you guys have any final thoughts about the season that went by? Any closing comments?
for me.
Yeah.
Next
Probably,
season.
yeah, go on.
No, go on, Ritwik.
No, go.
No. For me, EPL teams, British pundits, go and hide. Yeah. I'll see you guys in like 3 months with all your freshly laced, ink pens and like sharp tongues waiting to, disrespect us again. But I hope you're humbled. That's it.
Ritwik.
So I just want to say that this was magical. It's probably won't happen anytime soon. This is the kind of season you remember for ages. It's the story you tell your grandchildren, I guess. And to anyone who doubted Madrid, you can also sit on that same cactus and rotate. And I have just one hope that next season, I hope one of those long range shots go in from Valverde. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Good shout.
Yadu, Ria, and Farouk, closing comments, guys.
I don't have any closing comments. I just want to be surprised like I was in the season. I just want to see some surprises and trophies.
Yadu.
Subscribe.
So for me, it's like
If you've heard us this long, please subscribe.
Indeed.
Farouk.
So for me, it's just let's not do this again. Let's win the trophies in a normal way. Let's not put ourselves through garbage of waiting till the 91st minute to score goals and then, I always watch this, this Mendy clip always, like almost every day I watch it once. And like, the ball just comes off the line and it touches, the ankle of Phil Foden. Even that touched the shin, it's back in the post. Imagine, like, that's how tiny the margins are, for God's sake. Like, let's not do this again. Let's win trophies like normal human beings.
Heart attack season, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess at the end on this note, the fact is that we had an absolutely magical season, but still La Liga is being underrated. So because, there's not enough media covering the Spanish stuff. So I would request everybody who's watching to go and check out some of the other Madrid-related, podcasts being created by fans like Inada Mas and Madridista Roundabout that, we have collaborated with in the past. So I'm sure you guys would enjoy it. I would also like to give a shout out to our two Instagram friends. One is the RM committee. That guy has done a lot for us, and his link is in the description. Please do check out his Instagram page. And what was the other one? Madrid Instagram or whatever? Yeah.